I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, drama in Rivers as court stops impeachment move against Fubara and deputy. We'll also be looking at Atiku Abubakar's son abandons him, joins APC. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and ones based on the subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade Studio, who had to leave a retreat to join us on Issues with JD this evening. Good to see you, BKO.
I'm going to do this with you, Ibrahim. Thank God your voice is clearer now. So you are raring to go.
Absolutely. All right,
And
then
I
let's
can
get on
see
to
a microphone in your front. You are looking
absolutely.
like a big boy.
Issues with JD got better, really. Where we are looking to upgrade our technology, and then we just in the process. Next week will be even better than this. All right, then. In River State, a high court has issued an interim injunction restraining the River State House of Assembly and the chief judge from advancing impeachment proceedings against Governor Simlai Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu. The court order is set to last 7 days, pending further hearing, even as the Assembly insists impeachment will continue. Vikeo, why do you think River State's political impasse has defied meaningful resolution?
Well, yeah, power just because they think nothing will happen. And at the end of the day, it is the judiciary that gets mocked when this kind of orders are given. One thing is certain. No matter how bad a court order is, you have to obey it until you are able to set it aside through a competent court, until you appeal and get a stay, before even an order of the superior court is given. You have to obey that court. So this conduct of our judges, who from time to time perpetuate injustice, is common, and I'm not surprised that this has happened. People have asked me, can a court stop anyone from receiving a document? I've never heard that a court was stopped from receiving a document, but it has happened in Rivers State. And let me read the order, part of the order. The chief judge is hereby restrained from receiving or acting upon any impeachment-related communication from the Assembly for the purpose of constituting an investigatory panel against the governor and his deputy. So Fubara and his deputy had approached the court saying that the Assembly was bent on removing them from office unconstitutionally. So the court then restrained Justice Chibuzo Simon Amadi from receiving any impeachment notice from the Rivers State House of Assembly. The clerk and 29 assembly members were joined in the interim order that was issued. But the House proceeded to vote in favor of continuation of the impeachment process, including 4 members who had earlier asked for a political solution to the problem. So there's a lot of drama going on in Rivers State because I never expected that the same lawmakers who had demanded for the matter to be addressed politically, who had dissociated themselves more or less from the impeachment notice, and people began to see some form of friction between the 27 lawmakers loyal to Nyesom Wike. They now began to see that they were no longer united. But suddenly, they called a press conference and said, "Oh, we are resolute on the matter of impeachment. We are on the same side with our uh, colleagues, and we've been going through a lot of intimidation and all that." This is where we are. And as I've said in previous programs, I still believe that the president can address this matter. The president is back now from his last trip. So I believe the president has to call the people concerned. Yes, people will argue that the president shouldn't call them, that he should leave Fubara to deal with the matter. After all, the president had intervened in the past. Fubara didn't do anything, this and that. But he's the president of everyone. And if things, and Fubara has joined his party, his political party. So he cannot watch what is going on in Rivers State continue. The president has to play the fatherly role to resolve this dispute. He has to do just as he had done in the past. I trust him that he will be able to call the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, and appeal to him that in the interest of peace, um, this impeachment notice should be withdrawn. I believe that that is possible. I have not given up on that. But as I've said repeatedly, the president, I mean, the governor has to do better. He has to find a way to reach out, get the assembly members on his side. I don't understand why it is so difficult for these people to come together, for them to resolve their differences. Rivers State shouldn't be in the news all the time for the escalation of friction between Nyesom Wike and his godson, the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara. I think that it is possible to resolve the matter. And once the big political players step in, the lawmakers will sheath their swords. And the governor should be able to reach out to them. It's a measure of his political naivety that he has not been able to find a way to penetrate these people, reach out to them, and let them feel that he's ready to work with them. So, but as you can see, not many people are convinced that the impeachment process should go on. In fact, somebody asked me that what is the offense of Ngozi Odu, the deputy governor? What is our offense? You can accuse Fubara of a number of things. In fact, the Supreme Court came hard on Fubara in terms of the way he ran the state like an emperor. But what can you say about Ngozi? What is Ngozi's offense as the deputy governor? What is her offense? How did she breach the Constitution to the point that what she did is seen as gross misconduct? What is the gross misconduct that the deputy governor, who is hardly seen, has committed? That is why many people believe that this is just political, or an opportunity to settle scores, or an opportunity to find the leeway for Martin Amewule to become the acting governor, because once the deputy governor is brushed aside along with the governor, then the speaker would step in as the acting governor, just as it happened in Ekiti State when Ayo Fayose was illegally impeached, and the Supreme Court affirmed that he was illegally impeached, and that's why it is not in the record. It's not known to law that Ayodele Fayose was impeached. In fact, he came back, contested the election, and won. Became the governor for a second term. Because normally, if you are impeached, you cannot contest an election until like after 10 years. But he came back, not long after his impeachment, came back and won the election. He became governor for a second time. So it's unfortunate that all this is happening in Rivers State, but the fact that the president has returned should help us. Get to the end of this matter quickly. We need to see some action from the presidency with a view to solving this problem.
Right. So lawmakers have said that the governor's leadership has been problematic, and the motion to impeach is backed by a majority in the assembly. But in a democratic system, how do we balance the legislature's political mandate to hold executives accountable with the risk of judicial overreach in this case?
You see, everything revolves around the governor. The governor must play his politics well. He must get his politics right so that he will have considerable control of the assembly. Otherwise, political opponents will use the assembly to terrorize him. And the fact is clear. If you do not have the support of the lawmakers, then your days could actually be numbered. This was what happened to Balabe Musa, who was governor of Kaduna State. He was the first Nigerian governor to be impeached. He was the House. The MPN had overwhelming control of the House. So, and he was having this back and forth with them. He never really worked with the assembly. He disagreed with them repeatedly. So they just felt, at a point, they just felt they were tired of his antics, so to take over. But in this case, the Rivers State Assembly want to impeach Fubara's deputy when they can't really point at the offenses she has committed. Deputy governor has committed. So, and that's why people think that this is just a game meant to get the governor and his deputy out of the way so that the speaker, who is the number 3 person in the state, can step in until such a time when a new governor will emerge. That is clearly their goal. They don't want to see both men. And there's always a problem when you behave like this, because you may never be able to prove that the deputy governor deserved the sack, because you are going to set up a panel, and the panel's report will determine the next line of action. So if the panel says the governor and his deputy have committed no offense, then the whole effort to impeach him will end right there. That was what happened because of the CPC, whereas the House was dominated by the PDP. So they hurriedly wanted to get him out of the way. They didn't do their due diligence. They didn't do it well. the chief judge set up a panel, but the panel refused to find the governor guilty, and Almakura was able to retain his position because it's a check and balance at work. Yes, so that you don't be the judge in your own matter. You can deem a governor worthy of being impeached as a House of Assembly, but it is the chief judge that will set up a panel, a 7-man panel that will look at the allegations that you have raised. And if that panel looks at the allegations and affirms in his report that those allegations are not strong enough and that the governor was not guilty, that is where it ends. You can't proceed to go and impeach at that point. And if you do that, you have merely wasted your time because the court will set aside the impeachment. So the panel, they have asked the governor, in spite of the efforts being made to stop the impeachment, the House sent in a notice to the chief judge of the state, Justice Chibuzo Simon Amadi, directing him to set up a panel, which will investigate Fubara and his deputy. So if the panel deems Fubara to have not committed an offense, that is the end of the story. That is the end of the story. But
all right,
if you ask me, I don't think the matter should even get to that point. The president, as the leader of the APC, a party that Fubara has just joined, needs to step in at this stage, calm Nyesom Wike down, and tell him that he needs both men on his side. And this is the way I've analyzed this situation. Mr. President needs Fubara. Mr. President needs Nyesom Wike. So he has to find a way to reconcile both arrogant men and get them to commit to peace so that they can both work for his re-election, because he's interested in winning Rivers State. But the way to do it is not to have two men at loggerheads. They have to pool resources together to help the president to win. So the president knows that he has to have both men on his side. He's not prepared to, at least as of now, he's not prepared to throw one under the bus and give the other one preeminence. That is not his style. So I do not see him doing that.
Right. Okay, let me take some comments before we move to the other topic. We have Chinedu Okafor saying this Rivers matter is beginning to look like power play, not governance. Courts or no courts, the people just want peace and roads, not drama every week. Blessing Tamuno says the court did well. Impeachment should not be a political weapon. Rivers has been this movie before, has seen this movie before, and it never ends well. Sunday Adebayo says Section 188 says courts shouldn't interfere. Simple. Let the lawmakers do their job. Democracy isn't only about governors. Ngozi Eze says the assembly wants to rush impeachment, but prize foul when the court steps in. Separation of powers cuts both ways. And then we have Gratola saying, okay, he said it's good to be married. Ibrahim, wife is doing a great job. Thank you. We also have we have Larry Active saying that I don't know don't use the word rubbish anyway, but I don't know what Fubara is doing in APC. Instead of ADC, it needs to be ready to fight to the end. G.D. Thomas says the truth is that Fubara is politically naive. How can you start fighting someone as strong as Wike without any political structure? Okay,